Summary. Access control systems require identification, who are you, authentication, can you prove it's really you, and authorization, what are you allowed to do? A common strategy for implementing authentication and authorization in cloud-native applications is based on JWT as the data format, OAuth 2 as the authorization framework, and OpenID Connect as the authentication protocol. When using OIDC authentication, a client application initiates the flow and delegates an authorization server for the actual authentication. Then the authorization server issues an ID token to the client. The ID token includes information about the user authentication. Keycloak is an identity and access management solution that supports OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect and can be used as an authorization server. Spring Security provides native support for OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect, and you can use it to turn Spring Boot applications into OAuth 2 clients. In Spring Security, you can configure both authentication and authorization in a security web filter chain bean. To enable the OIDC authentication flow, you can use the OAuth 2 login DSL. By default, Spring Security exposes a /logout endpoint for logging a user out. In an OIDC/OAuth 2 context, we also need to propagate the logout request to the authorization server, such as Keycloak, to log the user out of there. We can do that via the RP-initiated logout flow supported by Spring Security via the OIDC client-initiated server logout SUC handler class. When a secure Spring Boot application is the backend for an SPA, we need to configure CSRF protection through cookies and implement an authentication entry point that returns an HTTP 401 response when a request is not authenticated, as opposed to the default HTTP 302 response redirecting to the authorization server automatically. The Spring Security Test dependency supplies several convenient utilities for testing security. The Web Test Client bean can be enhanced by mutating its request context through a particular configuration for OIDC login and CSRF protection.